Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Experiences Living Abroad. I'm here with the beautiful Josie. How are you, Josie?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you very much for having me here.
Absolutely. Josie, tell our viewers, where are you from?
I'm originally from Zagreb, Croatia, and been living here in Lisbon now for the past 3.5 years.
And is this your first time living abroad?
No, before moving to Lisbon, to Portugal, I was living for 2.5 years in Germany,
Hmm.
both in Frankfurt and one small city near Frankfurt. I was
So,
there first, and then I moved
how,
here.
great. And how did you get from Croatia to Germany first?
From Croatia to Germany was first because I wanted to learn the language. So basically, after university, I got a job in Croatia. Then after some time, the company had to close. And in this meantime, I was not ready to look for a new job in Croatia because I wanted to learn German. So I went to Germany in order to learn how to speak German. In the meantime, I found a job. I stayed there, learned the language. And then after 2.5 years there, I decided I want to try something else.
So you
So
have an interesting story as to how you learned the German in Germany. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, basically, I moved to Germany and I couldn't even like speak a word of German. So upon me moving the second or the third day after that, I started working in a restaurant. Imagine that. So kind of had to learn very fast, but I prefer to learn language like that because it makes you adapt really fast. And yes, in the beginning, you say a lot of things that don't make sense, but I don't have problem with people correcting me when I say something wrong. And I think this is the best way to learn. So I did that. And then after sometimes I also like started going to a school to properly learn the language. So right now I have C1 degree for German,
Hmm.
which I
And
learned like
you
in 2.5 years.
you you develop a you have developed an Angolan accent in regards to learning Portuguese, or was it learning German? German. Yeah.
Uh, what do you mean when I speak Portuguese?
It was
Yes,
Portuguese, I think.
I learned, yeah, Portuguese. I learned parallel when I was learning German, but because I had a lot of friends who are from Portugal and Angola while living in Germany, kind of picked up on Portuguese through them.
Hmm.
In the beginning, my Portuguese was the Portuguese people said Português because it was
Okay.
like Portuguese, but with this strong African accent,
Hmm.
which improved since I moved here to Portugal. But yeah, I learned it through them. So living in Germany with kind of Portuguese community, let's say,
Hmm.
this is how I learned how to speak Portuguese.
So when you were living in Germany and you were part of a Portuguese community, is that what made you want to move to Lisbon?
Actually, no, because I think it was in 2015. I came to Lisbon on vacation with my friend for 2 weeks. And I even remember the first day I arrived, we went here actually close to Chiado, to one
Hmm.
Miraduro.
Hmm.
And I remember I told her, I was like, oh, one day I'm going to live here. And she was like, you joking? I was like, no, this is a perfect city for me. It's a big city that has this like capital city vibe, but it also has the ocean, has
Hmm.
the beach. It has this kind of simple way of living, which I loved.
Hmm.
And I knew then already there is going to come a day where I'm going to move here. It
Hmm.
was pretty clear.
And so, how did you transition from Germany to Lisbon, Portugal? How did you go about even finding that there were jobs in Portugal?
Well, after that vacation, I went back to Germany, and I was in Germany for another year and a half. And then I just came to Lisbon for a short 3 or 4 day trip. Then I decided that I definitely want to move, and I started to look for a job while I was still here. And I applied for one job, which is the company where I'm working at the moment. I went back to Germany, and the next day I got a reply from them asking me to have an interview with them. And I did an interview with them. I passed all the for me, and they asked me when can I move here. I'm gonna say quite simple. It is in Lisbon at the moment. A lot of companies, just a small technical issue, but I think I'm back. So yeah, I think there is a big chance for everybody to find a job here. Of course, it depends on what you want, but that
So,
process went really smooth.
okay. And so, specifically, what did you do to know that there were jobs in your field? And we're going to talk about your field in a second. So, anyone living in Portugal can kind of have a little bit more insight of maybe the skills they would need to brush up on to find that type of work. But how did you go on a website? How did you find out about the job opportunity in Portugal?
It was through a friend. I had a friend already. She lived here. She worked for this company, so she kind of suggested it to me.
Okay.
So that's how I tried. Like she initially, like she told me, okay, just send me the CV or send them directly to them, and let's see what's gonna happen. And this is how it went. So it was
And
through a friend.
okay. And what type of field are you in?
Right now, I'm working for tourism. I'm in tourism department, let's say. It was also what I wanted to do because I have a degree in tourism,
Hmm.
so economics for tourism, and basically, let's say like out in Germany, I was also involved with tourism a lot because I worked in hotels.
Hmm.
So this is where I wanted to stay, and this is how it went. For at the moment, I'm.
So, so far as the tourism side, you're working on the tech side of tourism. So explain that a little bit. So Josie works for a contracting company that works with a very large, and I'll leave the name out, a very large U.S. company that deals with travel and booking travel for people all over the world. But it is a U.S. company, and the Portuguese company is contracting to the U.S. and Josie works for them. So your business is so even though it's in tourism, I think people need to understand that there's the tech side of tourism. So talk about that a little bit.
On the tech side, what was asked for was basically okay. The basic they do provide you a lot of knowledge. So even if you do not have the technical skills for tourism, like for example the programs that we use, Amadeus, Opera, and stuff like that, they will provide you with it. Some basic stuff that they do require is, of course, depending on which language market are you going to work. Um, Knowledge about the basic usage of the Windows and stuff like that. I mean, everybody needs to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything upon that is, of course, good to have, but they provide you with the training.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have knowledge already, prior knowledge to all of the, let's say, systems that are used in tourism, like for example, Amadeus and Opera, these kind of things. I did have knowledge for that, but I received an extra trainings for example, Salesforce, and some other processes that we use and some other programs that we use, basically.
Mm-hmm. And because you lived in Germany, do you think your ability to speak German assisted you in this particular position?
Yes, because of course I applied for the German market. They do require other languages, so in case somebody is speaking other languages, of course there is an option to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that helped a lot. Also, the fact that I do speak additional four languages helped.
What languages do you speak?
I speak with my mother language five. I would say five and a half because I do not really count Russian in, but I used to speak Russian a little bit before, because I didn't use it for a long time now. But I speak English, German, Portuguese, and Spanish on the same level. So the other languages are on the same level as my English, and the Croatian is my mother language. So
I love
five
it.
languages.
I gotta get my language life together. So since you were sponsored by this company, you didn't have to worry about visas because they took care of that, correct?
I didn't have to take a what?
Visas. Visas.
The visa, no, because I am a European citizen
Right.
and Croatia is in European Union. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have that problem. I just had to, of course, apply for my residency here. Company did assist us in that as well. That is basically the only, like, let's say, legal part that I had to do. Just apply for the residence here and social service number and these kind of things. But we do not need visa since Croatia is in European Union.
Right. Perfect.
That's a big advantage.
And so from leaving Croatia to Germany to now Portugal, how do you think moving abroad has changed your perspective on life?
Oh, a lot. The other day when I was back home in Croatia, my sister said, "You're much more calmer and
Mm.
less explosive than I used to be before."
Explosive. Josie, you was explosive? Talk to
No, no, not explosive in that way, but I had a temper, let's say.
Mhm.
And since I'm living abroad, I think I became more calm in a way that I see things from another view, because you never know what people are going
Mhm.
through. So
Mm-hmm.
to react on certain things that I would maybe react before, I don't do that anymore just because I'm trying to think, okay, maybe that person is having a difficult day, maybe that person is having some problems. I have a completely different approach. I'm way calmer.
Mm-hmm.
In that way, I think it changed me a lot. Also, it's just in general, you have a different kind of strength because you're so used to doing everything on your own in a way
Mm-hmm.
because you
Mm-hmm.
don't have your family as a background, let's say. You
Mm-hmm.
do, but when you are here alone, you don't have them really behind you. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to do a lot of things on your own, which I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind. And I think actually it's a good and a positive thing. Um, of people. I met so many people, and I'm so grateful for some people that I've met. Really, I met so many wonderful people through this whole moving process,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them I'm still in contact with, which is also one thing that I really, really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I, I adapted very well to it.
Awesome. So, for those individuals that are considering moving abroad, what advice would you give them?
Patience.
Mm.
I think patience is the number one. There is a lot of people who want to move abroad, but they don't have a patience. And you have to realize when you go to a foreign land, um, it takes time for you to adapt, for systems to adapt to everything, and people to accept you. Nothing is going to happen overnight. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a process, and you need to have patience and not giving up so easily because, yes, it will be hard. Yes, there will be hard moments, but at the end, things will come to their place. So it's for me, I think patience is the number one thing that I would say.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, Jess. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you too, and I wish you a nice day.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We know you can be anywhere and you decided to be here with us, and we appreciate it. Till next time.